were going to do all employee meetings and hit 5 cities in 5 days. We had 3 trucks that were bouncing around, leapfrogging to different cities. We had a core crew that was the director, the producers, the graphics folks, the audio folks, the lighting folks, the people that were going to operate the stuff on site. And so we had a core of about 8 people that transferred. They were at every single show. So the continuity of all the shows, the execution of all the shows were all identical.
We had very little time to put this whole thing together. When we got the assignment, we said, those guys are nuts. You know, we got to do 6 cities and whatever.
I love the challenge of it. I love it when somebody calls and says, hey, we got this project and we want to do this. When they call and say, we're going to hit 5 cities in 5 days. No, never even entered into my thought process at all.
We took on the challenge with the idea that we could find a way to make it happen.
Core crew of 8 people had to be at show A on Monday, show B on Tuesday to execute. So, Monday we're in Little Rock doing a show. As soon as we're done with the show, get it loaded on the truck, we'd have to fly and meet our setup staff in Louisville on day 2.
We ended up humping gear, loading trucks, hoisting truss over our heads. That turns us into roadies we really didn't sign up for, but because you're on the gig, we got to get it done, so we ended up doing that. It was long, long days.
So the only logistic way for us to get from Little Rock, Arkansas to Louisville, Kentucky, when we wanted to go and be there in time to get things set up overnight for the show the next day, we chartered a plane.
I knew that we were getting on the plane for 5 solid days, every single day. Usually I take a little bit of something to get myself prepared to get on a plane. But when I actually walked out and saw the plane and noticed that I've seen SUVs bigger than the actual plane that we've gotten on.
Chartering was the only way to go. Now, the other side of that, we had the world's smallest charter plane, and we had 7 or 8 of the world's largest guys.
The background consisted of all projection screens. So there was 5 screens melding the background, all built with truss framing structure around it. And so, of course, then we have 5 projection units. And we had 3 video switchers so that we could mix and match anything on those screens broken up into 3 different quadrants at any one given time. We had multiple videotape machines for roll-ins for all the elements that were pre-produced. We had a couple of laptops, Macs, running Keynote for all of our graphics support. We had 3 cameras that we would intercut live to the screens and record those feeds both individually and as a line cut. So a lot of technical support on the video side.
Gentlemen, we will have fun with the tour.
One of the things that I admired, not only Ron and his group had all of the equipment coordinated and set up and tore down, but the logistics of just getting all that stuff around, including all of us.
Hotel reservations and plane reservations, and it was actually just a great logistical feat that was accomplished.
We also had some parameters that were set by the client saying we'd like to have, our executives on a panel over here. We'd like to have a little interview set on the side. We'd also like to have a podium presentation where we have a moderator. So we have moderator, we have the executives, and then we have the interview set.
Well, actually, we have all the chain motors. What our problem is, our controller is gone down.
I mean, it was just interesting being around very tired people, wanting to get the show up, wanting to make it happen, and wanting to get it done. Most of the time we had food sooner or later. Most of the time we all had a bed to sleep in.
Gatorade. You know, the Gatorade Chevy Pontiac Monte Carlo, we had a really good race today.
Get up to the trim height and until all these lights are just perfect.
You know, our days got to be so long because we'd be up at 6 o'clock in the morning at the venue. And, you know, first day we're there on Sunday setting up, and we get done we have to be done for rehearsal at 7 p.m. So we're in there from 8 to 7, 8 to 9 by the time we got out of there. Next morning you're back at 6 o'clock. We knock out the show in the morning, and then it's tear everything down, load it all up on a truck, down to the next city, fly, get in late, set up again, finish setting up wherever they weren't finished, and just keep going and going and going. We were able to make every city look the same, and so that was a comfort level for the executives. They knew where they would sit, where they would stand, what the backgrounds would do, when the videos would play. They knew everything about the show. So the continuity of all the shows, the execution of all the shows were all identical, and we could work out anything that were changes and modifications to the scripts and the shows as we go through the week. We can make those adjustments, and we're not trying to communicate that to somebody that hasn't been there.
6 different shows with 6 different scripts, basically tweaked just a little bit differently. And then with each person having their own individual personalized script, the scripting became quite a full-time challenge.
The real situation was that Ron decided we needed 5 screens, and the challenge was you could have something up on each screen. We could use the top screens as content. We could use the bottom screens as graphic support for not only the videos but the people speaking. The big center screen was basically a backdrop for the show. Aegon is a global, powerful organization due to the power of the local organization. You know, we played on the global power, local knowledge type thing, and with that local knowledge is what we wanted to take people, give people really something to show their pride in. I want to capture people in their environment, doing what they do, so that we could not only get the idea of what these various locations or business units did, what it was like there, but then as the people saw themselves, give this sense of pride and ownership. We used the best of the local for their program. We used all of the other elements, wove them together to put some continuity into this global piece.
I think the key to all of this is a group of people that we work with. I think we have a great staff here. We have great relationships with other companies that provide services to us, whether that's sound and lighting, graphics, design, video production elements, whatever. We have a great team here.
And the neat thing about it is that you realize that you were with a team of people that could make this happen.
Everyone held it together. Everyone really did such an incredible job that you wouldn't have known that we were just on the road for 3 or 4 days prior to that.
The shows were excellent. The feedback was excellent from all the employees. They did surveys immediately afterwards.
Probably one of the best experiences I've ever had as far as entities coming together to create this product.
One of the things that is a great feeling is when you go into a project that is incredibly challenging. Short fuse, difficult situations, a lot of moving targets, and all of these things come together. But when you pull it off and it happens, it's an elation that is really hard to explain. And you get on this high, you go home and say, man, it was an incredible experience.